I said, was Asia Wilson's comments about things related to Caitlin Clark, especially the marketability and the fandom prior to Caitlin Clark starting in the league, where Asia Wilson very publicly made things about black, white, race. We all heard that. And I said, interesting. So you mean to tell me Nike puts out virtually nothing, and they're what at the time, before Caitlin Clark actually got in the league, their biggest WNBA star came out and made a racial issue out of Caitlin Clark's arrival into the league.
That federal investigation he just mentioned, Nike is facing discrimination charges against white workers. And their biggest basketball star right now happens to be a straight white woman who's been sitting on their roster since May. They finally dropped one commercial in December, 6 months after she started breaking every WNBA viewership record in existence. Her signature shoe still doesn't exist. And now, with the Super Bowl presenting the single biggest advertising opportunity of the year, Nike just announced they're sitting it out completely. Connect those dots, because what we're looking at here isn't just bad marketing. This is a pattern.
At this year's Super Bowl, guys, I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? And we'll get to Sophie Cunningham in a minute, because Sophie Cunningham very playfully threw some shade at Caitlin Clark over Nike this week. And Sophie wasn't wrong. She come out and said out loud what we all think. Nike has confirmed to Adweek that it will not run an ad at Super Bowl 60. The move comes just 1 year after the brand ended its 27-year hiatus with the, quote, "so win."
Asia Wilson made those comments in April 2024, right before Caitlin entered the league. She explicitly framed the conversation around race, suggesting that Caitlin's popularity and marketability were tied to her being white, and that the existing fan base didn't appreciate black players the same way. Those comments went viral. Every major sports outlet covered them, and Nike, who had Aja as their top WNBA athlete at the time, heard every word. Then Caitlin Clark arrived in May. Immediate impact, her debut game drew 2.1 million viewers on ESPN, making it the most watched WNBA game in 20. Her college games had been pulling bigger numbers than NBA playoff games. Every brand expert in the country was saying the same thing. This is a generational marketing opportunity, and Nike did nothing.
After her little incident with the cops, the minute-long commercial was hailed as a creative triumph, helping Nike's logo garner more screen time than any other brand during Super Bowl 59. The Portland company's decision to forego an ad in the NBC 2026 broadcast, with prices coming in at $8 million for 30 seconds, comes as it orchestrates a turnaround plan focused on reversing years of sluggish sales and restoring its flagship brand. Well, your biggest star is sidelined right now. I mean, you had somebody that could be.
Let's put this in perspective. When Zion Williamson signed with Nike's Jordan brand in 2019, they had a signature shoe designed and released within 18 months. When Ja Morant signed in 2019, his first signature shoe dropped in April 2023, about 4 years, which is standard development time. Caitlin Clark signed her Nike deal before the 2024 WNBA season started. We're now in February 2025, and there's still no signature shoe, just vague promises about maybe this spring. Meanwhile, Sabrina Ionescu got her Nike signature shoe in February. Breanna Stewart has had signature shoes with Puma. Even players with smaller fan bases have gotten signature releases faster than Caitlin Clark is getting hers from Nike. The delay isn't about design complexity or manufacturing logistics. Nike can turn around a signature shoe in 12-18 months when they want to. They've proven that repeatedly. So what's different here?
But it also took forever. And you see that headline right there. Sophie Cunningham shades Nike with Caitlin Clark treatment comment. I mean, even her teammate knows it. Sophie Cunningham put out she's repping these sneakers, okay? Sophie said these are legit everyone's favorite shoes. Dress them up or down, so swaggy yet elevated and clean. Thank me later. Caitlin Clark got playful with her. I promise you, they aren't my favorite. Okay? I mean, that's funny. But Sophie didn't pull any punches. She tagged Caitlin Clark and answered and said, I promise you, we get treated better at Adidas. Woo!
That Super Bowl commercial last year, the one he's referencing, aired during Super Bowl 59 in February 2024. It featured multiple women athletes, including A'ja Wilson and Sha'Carri Richardson. The ad was called A Creative Triumph, and Nike's logo got more screen time than any other brand during the broadcast. 30-second spots were selling for over $7 million. This year, for Super Bowl 60, those same spots are going for $8 million for 30 seconds. Viewership is expected to exceed 120 million people in the United States alone. It's the single biggest advertising platform in American media. And Nike, despite having the most popular basketball player in the world right now on their roster, decided to pass. They're not running any ad at all. Not a Caitlin Clark ad. Not an A'ja Wilson ad. Not a women's sports ad. Nothing.
This is absolutely throwing shade at Nike for her treatment of Caitlin Clark, of their treatment of Caitlin Clark. I mean, her teammates know it, for crying out loud. They got the biggest, let's be real. I've said this before. Caitlin Clark's the biggest star in basketball right now, male or female. I'd say if LeBron hadn't fell out of favor with so many people across the country, you could be like, oh no, it's LeBron. You can't do that anymore. I mean, now LeBron has a game. A lot of people tune out. Instead of tuning in, we saw that during the playoffs in ratings a couple of years ago. But they've had Caitlin Clark sitting there forever, and they completely ignored her.
Sophie Cunningham plays for the Phoenix Mercury. She's signed with Adidas. And what she did this week was throw some very public, very deliberate shade at Nike's treatment of her Team USA teammate. Sophie posted on social media about her Adidas shoes, tagging Caitlin and saying they were everyone's favorite shoes. Caitlin responded playfully, saying, I promise you they aren't my favorite. Obvious loyalty to her Nike contract. But then Sophie fired back, I promise you we get treated better at Adidas. That's not a joke between teammates. That's a public call-out. Sophie is watching her friend and Olympic teammate get neglected by the biggest athletic brand in the world, and she's saying the quiet part out loud. Caitlin made the wrong choice, signing with Nike. And here's what makes that comment so significant. Sophie knows what she's talking about. She sees how Adidas treats their athletes. She sees the marketing support, the product releases, the promotional campaigns, and she's watching Caitlin get none of that from Nike, despite being a significantly bigger star.
Caitlin Clark is a straight white female. I think Nike was scared to actually promote her because they didn't want backlash from other WNBA players and the old WNBA fandom that would have construed that into, oh, Nike's turned into a bunch of racists. Oh, they're pushing the Clark thing, huh? Here comes her racist fans. We all know how this goes. We all know what social media would be percolating out there. I mean, that's crazy. You get handed an opportunity to showcase. You could have literally launched, even if you were just to rerun the same Caitlin Clark commercial that you ran just a couple of 3 weeks ago, rerun it again. There's a lot of people that haven't seen it. Rerun it again during the Super Bowl.
He's right about LeBron. LeBron James was once the most marketable athlete in basketball, maybe in all of American sports. But his political statements, his comments about China, his perceived hypocrisy on social justice issues, all of that eroded his popularity with large segments of the American audience. When the Lakers made the playoffs in 2023, their games drew lower ratings than expected specifically because casual fans were tuning out LeBron. Caitlin Clark is the opposite trajectory. Her popularity has only grown. Her rookie season averaged 1.2 million viewers per game across all platforms, more than tripling the WNBA's previous average. The Indiana Fever went from being one of the least watched teams in the league to having 36 of their 40 games draw over 1 million viewers. Road games saw attendance increases of 150–300% in multiple cities just because Caitlin was visiting. The financial impact is measurable. WNBA sponsorship revenue increased by. The league signed a new media rights deal worth $2.2 billion over 11 years, nearly 6 times their previous deal. Caitlin Clark is directly responsible for a significant portion of that growth, and Nike has been invisible throughout all of it.
Oh, we got Caitlin Clark, but we're going to pass on the Super Bowl. God. Okay. I mean, honestly. Sophie's right. Adidas would have treated Caitlin Clark better. Or Under Armour. Steph Curry was mad they didn't land her. Tell me what you think. Nike misses a huge opportunity at the Super Bowl to promote Caitlin Clark, once again dropping the ball. Peace, I'm out.
Here's what makes this significant beyond just one missed Super Bowl ad. Nike is facing legitimate business challenges right now. Their revenue has been declining. They've lost market share to competitors like Adidas, New Balance, and Hoka in the running category. Their stock price dropped significantly. They need wins. They need cultural moments. They need athletes who can move product and generate genuine excitement. They have that athlete. She's sitting right there in their roster, and they're not using her. The federal investigation into workplace discrimination adds another layer. If Nike was hesitant to promote Caitlin Clark because of internal pressure or fear of backlash from other athletes or social media, that's a problem. That's letting identity politics override sound business decisions. And if the discrimination investigation reveals that Nike's corporate culture was actively hostile to promoting white athletes, regardless of their marketability, that's not just a PR problem. That's a legal and financial disaster. But even setting aside the investigation, the basic marketing failure is inexcusable. Adidas would have had Caitlin in a Super Bowl commercial. Under Armour would have built an entire campaign around her. Puma would have given her a signature shoe within a year. Steph Curry said publicly that Under Armour tried hard to sign Caitlin Clark. He was disappointed they didn't land her because he knew what she could do for the brand. That's a superstar athlete from a competitor brand saying we wanted her because we understand her value. Nike has, and they're wasting the opportunity. Think about the position this puts Caitlin in. She signed what was reportedly one of the most lucrative endorsement deals in WNBA history with Nike. She chose them over other brands, specifically because of their reach, their resources, and their track record with signature athletes. She expected the Michael Jordan treatment, or at least the LeBron James treatment. Instead, she's getting less promotional support than athletes with a fraction of her popularity. She can't say that publicly. She's under contract. She has to smile and wear the Nike gear and pretend everything is fine. But her teammate just said it for her. Sophie Cunningham looked at the situation and decided someone needed to call it out, even if it meant creating awkwardness with the biggest athletic brand in the world. And here's the thing about that Sophie Cunningham comment. It's going to resonate. Other athletes are going to see it. Other brands are going to see it. When Caitlin's Nike contract comes up for renewal, whenever that is, this entire saga is going to be part of the negotiation. Nike's failure to maximize her value during her peak popularity window is going to cost them. The Super Bowl decision is just the latest example. It's the most visible example because the Super Bowl is such a massive platform, but it's part of a pattern that's been consistent since May. Nike has had 10 months to figure out how to market Caitlin Clark effectively, and they still haven't done it. Compare that to how quickly other brands have moved. Gatorade signed Caitlin and had commercials running within weeks. State Farm featured her in campaign. Wilson Sporting Goods partnered with her. These brands understood the opportunity and executed immediately. Nike has the biggest budget, the most resources, the best creative teams in the industry, and they're getting outworked by everyone else. The question becomes, what's the actual reason for this failure? Is it incompetence? Just a marketing team that completely misread the opportunity? Is it internal politics, pressure from other athletes, or employees who didn't want Nike promoting Caitlin because of the racial dynamics? Aja Wilson highlighted, is it overcaution, fear that promoting a white athlete too aggressively would generate backlash and accusations of racism? Whatever the reason, it's costing Nike. It's costing them in immediate revenue, Caitlin Clark merchandise would be selling at unprecedented levels with proper promotion. It's costing them in brand perception. They look slow and out of touch compared to competitors. And it's costing them in athlete relations. Other athletes are watching how Nike treats their biggest star, and they're taking notes. So, was Sophie Cunningham right? Would Caitlin be treated better at Adidas? Based on everything we've seen, absolutely. Adidas has been aggressive in women's sports marketing. They've built entire campaigns around female athletes. They understand how to move quickly and capitalize on cultural moments. Nike had the first mover advantage with Caitlin Clark. They had her under contract before she played her first WNBA game. They could have owned this entire narrative. Instead, they're playing catch-up to their own athletes' popularity, and they're losing ground every day they wait. The Super Bowl was the perfect opportunity to change that narrative. One strong commercial featuring Caitlin Clark, timed to the biggest advertising moment of the year, would have reset the conversation. It would have shown that Nike recognizes her value and is committed to promoting her at the highest level. Instead, they're sitting it out. And every brand executive watching this situation is learning the same lesson. When you have a generational talent, you promote them immediately and aggressively, or someone else will wish they had the chance. What do you think? Is this just bad marketing, or is there something deeper going on with how Nike has handled Caitlin Clark? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more WNBA analysis that actually examines what's happening behind the scenes, hit that subscribe button, because this story isn't over. Caitlin's contract with Nike will eventually come up for renewal, and when it does, this entire saga is going to matter.